Hello, my loves. Welcome back to the Pep Talk Pod. I am so glad to have you here. I am your host, Maria. In this episode, this is going to maybe trigger some people. So, buckle up, buttercup, because it might be a little bit of a bumpy ride. So, this podcast is all about self-doubt and when you are spiraling, when you are just lost in your head in a sea of trying to logic your way through things. You are like, I know I need to do this and I want to do this, and I can see all of the steps that I need to take, but you just sort of keep bringing yourself back to, but I can't do that, and but then I just feel like this, and then this comes up and that comes up, and you just can't snap yourself out of it. Okay, when you know what you need to do and you have got it all figured out. For example, one of my clients, she said to me today in our Voxer group, I have everything ready to go, I just haven't done it. I feel really shitty. Me and the toddler were unwell, blah, blah, blah. And I said to her, I could give you 2 different pep talks right now, but which one is going to benefit you the most? One, if you are seriously unwell and your body is like, I have a banging migraine, I can't even open my eyes, this is just not a good day for things, then that's when you go to sleep. That is when you rest. That's when you don't do the thing. However, if you are saying this and you're like, it's been 3 months, I've had everything waiting for 3 months or even longer. I've had a client who had everything waiting ready to go for 2 years before we started working together. And you're like, everything's ready to go, everything's there, I just haven't done it, because you keep getting in the self-doubt spiral of, what are people going to think about me? What is going to happen? You're trying to attach certainty to an outcome. You are never going to be able to be certain of an outcome. You cannot predict the future. No one knows what is going to happen in 10 seconds time, never mind the next week or the next few years. What happens when you're in that spiral is you are just constantly thinking about stuff that, quite honestly, is none of your fucking business. And you need to ask yourself, how can I get myself out of that? Do I actually have to be real with myself? Or do I need to give myself my body needs? And I think when there's 2 certain things of like, I just can't see, I'm really run down, etc., you give yourself the rest. But if you're like, I actually, I'm doing other stuff, I could be doing this, I've got it sitting ready to go, I'm just doubting everything, I'm just doubting myself, thinking I'm not good enough, all of these other things, then you need to give yourself a little bit of a talk, and that's what this is. You need to ask yourself, which alternative universe do I fucking want to live in? Do I want to live in the one where I'm 10, 15 years down the line, in exactly the same place, thinking the same thoughts, same situation, same surroundings, nothing's changed? Or do I want to put myself out there, getting comfy with being uncomfy, not knowing what's going to happen, not knowing how people are going to react, and putting myself out there because that aligns with my values and it aligns with my goals and the dreams that I have for this one fucking life that we only get one shot at? Like, do you want to be that person? Do you want to have a life where you say, what if, and it's a beneficial, positive what if it all works out? What if this is the best thing that I've ever done? And people really snap up and they're like, oh my God, like I've been waiting for this my entire life. Where have you been? Or do you want to live the life that's self-depreciating, self-loathing? What if it's not good enough? What if people don't like me? Do you honestly want to be that person? And like, I'm sorry, but in my head, I would feel completely pathetic if whenever I've had moments in life where I've been saying those things to myself, I have been like, wow, this is pathetic. Would I speak to my daughter this way? Would I speak to my son this way? No, I wouldn't. So why am I talking to myself this way? What you need to realize is that the way that you speak to yourself, no one is ever going to speak to you that bad. It's only you that beats yourself up that bad. It's only you. And the way that you're going to come out of that self-doubt is to make a fucking decision of which life you want to have. If you're happy having that life where you just doubt yourself and your ability and you never do anything and you just stay there, then you do you, right? But if you want that life where you can prove to your children that they can fucking have what they want to have because you are that very embodiment of that, because that for me is the life that I want to have, I am more worried about not having the things that I say that I'm going to have and doing the things I say I'm going to have, because I'm worried about how it's going to impact my children by me not having those things and ticking those things off and saying, you know, I had the conviction and the courage to see that through. I am more worried about what that's going to say to them and their own capability. That's what gets me through it. That's what gets me through it every damn day when I get in freeze mode and I'm like, my mind is telling me a million different things at once and I just can't seem to move my body. I'm like, I fucking need to do this for my kids. And honestly, I would actually look at the limitation of the time limitation that having children can have on you as a business owner. Yeah, I don't have as many hours in the day to work on these things anymore, but I would see that having children has created much more of a creative fuel up my ass than anything else ever has done in the past 5 years. I mean, it was because Ella was 9 months old. Well, actually, younger than that, 7 or 8 months old, when I went back full time to work because I had no other choice. Because my husband had just started going back to university. Ella was a very happy, unplanned surprise. And because of that, I was then, oh my God, I never want to leave my baby again. If we have our second child, I am not putting that baby in childcare at that young of an age when they cannot communicate to me. I don't know what their day has been like. I'm having to trust this entire new stranger with the most precious thing in my life. I had to look at that and say, I am not going to be that. And honestly, that limitation gave me the most creative fuel ever. So I know that's a little bit of a tangent, but if you're like, I'm in a self-doubt spiral and I just can't get out of it, try and latch onto something. If you can't do it for yourself, do it for something else. You know, seriously, that's what it comes down to. What are you able to do it for until you get to a point where you love and value yourself enough where you can be like, I'm fucking doing this for me first and foremost. That's definitely a journey that I've been on, and you know, using my children has definitely been a great catalyst for that. At the end of the day though, I've got to a point where I'm like, I want it from me. I want to prove it to little Maria, who had all of the dreams and everyone said that her head was in the clouds and that she needed to come back to earth, and I was like, nah. As a kid, I want to do it for her because she deserves the absolute world, you know? So if you are in that self-doubt spiral, to recap, you have two choices. Be in that self-doubt spiral and nothing ever change, and you just constantly beat yourself up and you're your own worst person in the entire world. You are your own bully. Or do you want to take a risk? Do you want to actually create the courage to do the things that you want to do? Because the things that you want to do are there for a reason. They are not a coincidence. They are not just a random fleeting thought that you've got. They're all there for a wider purpose that you have no business questioning. And it's entirely up to you to follow that because no one else is going to do it for you. So I hope this pep talk helped, and I will see you in the next one.